Nam Aloha. So it's officially 2022 according to the Gregorian calendar. But energetically, the beginning doesn't start until the sun moves all around the mandala back to the 41st hexagram. And this is the start codon when everything begins again. So right now, the sun is actually in the shadow of struggle. So energetically, it will take a lot of energy to initiate anything new, right? It will create struggle for a lot of people. So this is why many people fail in their New Year's resolutions, right? New Year's resolutions, they turn into to-do lists for the week. Okay, so on January 22nd, 2022, lots of twos there, is officially the new year, and then we'll be supported to initiate the new. So I'll probably do a meditation or something like that, but I'll keep you posted if you're on my newsletter. So this doesn't mean that we can't reflect on the year 2021. So let's look at this collectively. So I've done a whole 2022 year ahead webinar, and it's still on sale. You can watch that. It would probably be a good idea to watch that. I go into way more depth. It's over 4 hours long. Link is below. So 2020, right? We're in the 7-year cycle. We're in the second year in 2020 to 2027. So 2020, we're on the Titanic. And we can see that iceberg is coming. And many people saw this iceberg coming many, many years ago, but were thought of as crazy or conspiracy theorists, right? 2021, we hit the iceberg, right? And now 2022, the water is breaching the hull. Water's coming in. So most of us were smart and got off that Titanic in 2020 or before. So the Titanic is an analogy for our systems, our institutions. This Titanic is the government, it's our educational system, it's our medical system, it's our economic system, our legal system, religion, marriage, military, right? All of these systems are breaking down for the Aquarian age. So our lesson as a collective last year, right, until January 22, right, of this year, was to let go of the 19th hexagram, which is the shadow of codependence. So letting go of codependence on these institutions, right? So spiritually, codependence means sacrificing a part of your authentic self for the dictates of these institutions. So basically going against your own inner truth, going against your own intuition, what you know to be right, right? Going against that out of fear, right? Going with the crowd. So giving your divine power over to outside authorities, and divine power has so much value, right? It's what truly has value on this earth plane. So basically putting something in between you and your relationship to big G, right? So you're choosing little g over big G. This is codependence. So personally, in your own life, you may be doing this in a relationship, right? With your partner or your spouse, right? A parent, a family member, right? A boss, a supervisor, or even a client. Someone or something you perceive as having some kind of power over you. You can create a codependent relationship. So you'll know last year if you were betraying yourself in this way, because this is a deep betrayal. The codependence is because you're abandoning yourself. So how would you know? Well, you would feel, according to the chart, you would feel a decrease, a contraction, right? A lack, especially in the material realm. So this is your finances or your material possessions. So we're still collectively, yes, we've experienced that, right? And we're still in this energy until January 22nd, 2022. So there's still an opportunity for you to transmute this shadow pattern. And my mother wound webinar goes deep into codependence. This is the root of it, right? Our relationship with our earthly mother. So let's get back to the Titanic. So this year, the waters of purification. right, are coming in from deep within the unconscious mind to capsize these systems, right? These systems were created long ago, before you were even born. You know, I remember as a teenager saying out loud to my parents, right? I don't agree with these systems, right? How this world works. Who made up these rules, and why don't I have a say? Why don't we have a say in this, right? So this contract was signed long ago, but we weren't present, not right? We weren't present. So this can seem like a scary time to watch that Titanic start to sink, but it's necessary, right? It's the necessary process to break these old systems that don't serve us any longer so that we can build something new. So a lot of people last year went into deep denial, right? This is the mass psychosis. This is Pluto in the 61st hexagram for 3 years in the shadow of psychosis. And isn't it interesting now that the word, mass psychosis is the most Googled word, right? Just as Pluto is about to move out of the shadow pattern. So psychosis is the shadow that hides inner truth, right? So denial is being on the Titanic, right? You can see people in denial. It's like they're sending postcards to the people off the Titanic saying, come on, right? I'm having such a good time on the Titanic. Come back. That's denial. So this is believing that nothing's wrong, right? We're going back to normal if we just follow what the authorities tell us to do, right? So there's the captain on the ship, right? Lying through his teeth. Oh, we're just going through some rough waters. Just stay in your cabin. Don't look around. Don't talk to other people. Don't check things out for yourself, right? And the people that are not obeying the captain will say they're putting you at risk. It's their fault, right? They're capsizing the boat because they're all moving into one side, like foolishness, right? And the sad part is most of these people, the prophecy is 1/3 of the population, are going to hang on for dear life to this delusion right up until the boat is sinking, right? It's going to the bottom of the ocean. And some will say in their last breath, could have been worse if we didn't stay in our cabins and did what we were told, right? Don't be worrying about these people, right? If they're all in God's hands. So let's just take a quick look at 2022. So the collective lesson, according to the chart in 2022, is to let go of victim consciousness. That's no small feat. So if we continue to indulge in the victim within, right, we're going to experience a lack of empathy from everyone around us, right, from our leaders, from these institutions. We'll lose empathy for our fellow humans. We'll shut down our hearts, right? I'm just following orders. Got to take care of me, right? That's right. That kind of thinking and attitude. And empathy is one of the main qualities of what it means to be a human. If you were to describe the qualities of human, I would say empathy is right at the top. So people who believe that they're victims, right? Because this is such a powerful archetype, right? A powerful consciousness. They will do horrendous things to other people, right? Because they wrongly believe that person over there is going to do the same thing to them. It's a complete projection of shadow. So abusers and victims, right? It takes two to slam dance. They're the same frequency, different sides of the same coin. They need one another. So I'll talk more about this in 2022. I mean, there's a whole video there, many videos about this consciousness. So this year, happening very soon, before the new year and January 22nd, the good news is that Pluto is going to finally leave the shadow of psychosis, so that will lift. But the bad news is Pluto is going to move into the shadow of limitation for the next 4 years. So it looks like many more will be awakening from the brainwashing, from the psychosis of the last couple of years, which is good. So what a brilliant way how this is all designed. You know, I'm in awe sometimes at this, to bring us out of victim consciousness. Everyone in the shadow of limitation. No movement, right? No movement. It's a very physical shadow, right? It's in Capricorn. So probably more lockdowns and those kinds of things, forcing us to go within. You have to remember the Aquarian age is all about, okay, you've taken the ego as far as it can go, humanity. You've gone to the external as far as you can go. Now it's time to come back home, come back within. So this year I see as having a great potential to bring about a lot of growth and progress for each one of us if we surrender, right, to our divinity. So it's the realization that wait a minute, I've been told all my life all these things that weren't true, right? I do have power, and not the fake power of the ego, right? Through the pursuit of money, possessions, people, anything or anyone to build that ego up. That's fake power that we've been taught, right? This is our power. It's not true. That you have the real power, right? That you are free. That's the gift that comes out of transmuting this victim consciousness. That you have the real power, that you are free, and that you're contributing to this collective dream through your projections coming from your mind and your traumas. And this is called spiritual adulthood, right? Taking responsibility for your projections, right? A projection is like the bow and arrow. Just as you're pulling back to send that arrow out, you catch it. That's all it is. Shadow work is just catching that arrow and bringing it back. And it's like, oh, it's coming from me, right? This is all about me and my projections. So the victim consciousness, that's not you. You have to remember that you're not a victim, chooses to remain unconscious and asleep. And the victim does not like to hear that they have choice, right? Victims do not want to hear that. Victim continues to blame and complain, continues to believe that they're separate from others, right? And creation, that's the illusion. The victim chooses to believe that they have no power. The victim only looks at the surface of life, refuses to go to the source, which is to go within. So this shadow of limitation is going to force the victim consciousness, right, to come out of hiding. These shadow patterns have to come out of hiding. Everything that's been hidden will be revealed. Apocalypse means that the great reveal. And we all have it, right? We all have that victim consciousness because it's an archetype in the collective unconscious. We all have to deal with it, right? So you want to be open to it. Not like, oh, I dealt with that last year. I did a workshop or I took a program or something. It's like, no, be open to letting it all go so that you can truly be free. So remember, when we focus on the surface of life, right, only on the surface of life, this only strengthens our enslavement to the physical world, to the material world. And this is victim. The victim is enslaved to the physical world. The victim believes that they're only this mind, this body, these emotions, and 5 senses. And they take no responsibility for what's in their life. It's everybody else's problem, but not theirs, right? So hold tight this year. We're going to see a lot of this victim consciousness playing out in the external world, out in the movie. So you have to remind yourself, no matter how horrific it looks, that nothing is as it seems. Nothing is as it seems. It doesn't mean you shut down your heart, right? And get to your third eye and get all arrogant. It means be in your heart, but also remember that you're in a dream, right? A waking dream. So the gift here, right? The greatest potential for us, which I'm really excited about, is freedom. Freedom. So remember that a victim measures their success, right, by how far they can climb up in this artificial material world, how many titles they can accumulate, how much money they can accumulate, how much possessions they can accumulate, right? That's the victim. They're victims too, the ones that won the game, right, that are winning at this. So freedom is to find yourself, your big ass self, big ass self. Then your definition of success radically changes. So instead of climbing the ladder to the top, right, the winner to the one with the most toys wins, instead you realize true success, which is to share your spirit with others, right? Did you give of yourself with no expectation for reward today? Did you help others? Did you respond to the needs of others? Or did you take from others, right? Looking for compliments, fishing for compliments, looking for adoration and validation. These are all the sneaky ways that the victim tries to take from others, right? This is the shadow, the dark, ugly stuff that we don't want to look at, but we have to look at it, right? And then we stop projecting it out in the world. So this year, you want to take your attention from the creation outside here and bring it back to the creator, right? The creator is inside you. So you have incredible power as a co-creator. And at the same time, you're incredibly powerless as the ego. This is the paradox, right, of the Aquarian age. So what we see is the upside down world, the creation trying to oppress the creator. It's the upside down world. Like, for example, artificial technology attempting to rule humanity. So is this wrong? Is this wrong? Nothing's wrong that we see out in the world. Nothing's wrong. Even the shadow consciousness is an ally. It's our greatest ally to our awakening, the shadow. So the creation is awakening the creator, right? The creation is awakening the creator inside. And I often feel that the divine, big G, right, designed this buried alarm clock within each one of us so that we would awaken, right? Not get too comfortable in the darkness, right? This is our lifetime to awaken en masse. So you want to grab this opportunity, not go into despair, not go into hopelessness, not to indulge in your addictions, not to play small, but to really go for it in this incarnation. Remember, your ancestors are there cheering you on, the ones that are aligned with the light. So let this water rush in, right? Get off the Titanic if you're still on it. And don't try to save a system that's dying. It's dying. You can pray for guidance, right? Meditate, listen. Why are you here? Why am I here? Who am I? These are good questions to ask yourself. And it will come from your creative being, right? Whatever answers come will come from you, your creative being. And your creative being is your uniqueness. It's your authenticity. This is your true power. And the shadow consciousness wants us all like the Borg, right? All the same, homogenized, boring blob of blahness. That's what they want us to be. So you want to claim and hold on to your uniqueness. Don't let that go. So just a reminder, my recorded readings show you what you need. You, no one else, you need to cultivate your uniqueness. What food you need to eat, the environment you need to live in, how your brain works, what you're supposed to see out in the world, how to make your decisions. This is all based on your human design chart. So I still have it at $25 off. So you want to order yours today. It's over 1.5 hours long. So you have about a 48-hour wait. And also a reminder too that my mother wound and father wound webinars, they're two separate webinars. You can get both of them for $99. And that's over 16 hours of content. So if you really need to do some healing and forgiveness work with your earthly mother and your earthly father, right, who a lot of people are projecting their authority issues onto their government, right? It's all father issues, right? A lot of our problems come from our relationship to those two figures, right, early in our childhood. Okay, all links below. So please leave your comments, and thank you to everyone who's donated or purchased one of my products or services. I really appreciate it. And thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. You can follow me on Telegram, Instagram, Odysee, and Facebook. And I'm looking at some other platforms too. But better yet, sign up for my free newsletter. And this is where I give the Zoom links for the free group meditation. So I'll be announcing that soon when our next group meditation will be. Okay, so I'll see you next video, and Satnam Aloha.